Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're tackling what is, hands down, one of the absolute most stressful, panic-inducing moments in all of parenting. You know it well, the public toddler meltdown. We're going to draw on some really fascinating, science-backed insights today to decode what's actually happening in your kid's brain, and more importantly, how you can navigate it without losing your own mind. Picture this. It's a random Tuesday morning at the supermarket. You're minding your own business in aisle 7, your 3.5-year-old spots a flashy toy display, you say no, and boom. Suddenly, they hit the floor. Full body, screaming, kicking, completely unreachable. You're just standing there with a half-filled cart, feeling literally every pair of eyes in the store staring right at you. You are absolutely desperate to just make the noise stop, right? It's incredibly common to just want to fix the situation instantly by giving in, but we're going to look at exactly why that happens and what we can do instead.
Section 1. Inside the tantrum brain. So, to figure out how to handle this chaotic moment, we first need to completely shift our perspective. Let's look at the neuroscience of what is actually happening to your child right then and there.
Let's talk about the prefrontal cortex. This is the part of the brain that handles reasoning and language. Well, during a full-blown tantrum, this part of your child's brain goes completely offline. I really want you to let that sink in for a second. They aren't being deliberately difficult. They aren't trying to manipulate you. They are in a state of genuine, total overwhelm. And in that state, they literally cannot process your words, your explanations, or your instructions.
There is a massive disconnect happening here. When their thinking brain is online, sure, logic works perfectly fine. But when the tantrum brain takes over, your kid is essentially in survival mode. And this is exactly why talking more, trying to reason with them, or frantically explaining why they can't have the toy actually makes the meltdown worse. To their overloaded nervous system, your animated face, your moving arms, the sheer urgency in your voice, all of that registers as danger, not comfort. They don't need a rational solution in that moment, they just need to feel safe so that thinking brain can finally come back online.
Section 2. The public pressure cooker. Now let's see how this dynamic builds when you add the absolute worst possible variable, an audience of staring strangers. It's so crucial to remember this incredible insight from a pediatrician we looked at. One mother was dealing with these massive 2-hour tantrums at home, but get this, her child was perfectly behaved at daycare. The realization? The child felt safest to unleash those giant emotions with the mother. The mom wasn't the problem, but her frantic approach and heavy emotional engagement during the tantrum were actually feeding the behavior. Once she shifted her own energy, the child settled down.
Public tantrums feel infinitely worse because of this social pressure, right? We feel embarrassed, we feel judged, our stress just skyrockets, and our kids absolutely sense that urgency. That tells their nervous system that something is truly physically wrong. As one parent noted, the secret is mentally dropping the in public part of the equation altogether. If you can genuinely lower your own internal state and solely focus on your child, you build trust and instantly start to de-escalate the situation.
Section 3. 6 Steps to Calm. Okay, so what actually helps? How do we put this into practice today? Let's move to our toolkit of 6 actionable steps.
Step 1. Set expectations before you even enter the building. Tell them, hey, we're buying groceries today. No toys. If you see one, we can add it to your birthday list. This isn't a negotiation, it's just information, and it totally removes the elements of surprise. Step 2. When it starts, stop talking. Just get down to their level, keep your face perfectly calm, say I'm here exactly one time, and wait. And step 3. Move if you can. Physically going to an empty aisle or out to the car provides a much-needed physical reset that actually interrupts the tantrum cycle. Building on that, if you absolutely have to stay, like say you're stuck in a doctor's waiting room, create calm right where you are. Get low and just wait quietly. Step 5 is all about prevention. It's noticing the good things before a tantrum even has a chance to brew. And step 6 is vital. Save the conversation for after. You only talk about what happened when the storm has entirely passed and their reasoning brain is actually functioning again. Let's look a bit closer at step 4, creating calm where you are. To do this, you want to channel what's called the robot. Now, don't misunderstand this. The robot is not about being cold or unfeeling. Not at all. It's about being calm, quiet, and present. It's a steady anchor. You aren't making empty promises or throwing out empty threats. You are simply communicating with your body language alone, we are safe, and I am just waiting for you.
And for step 5, prevention, I really want to highlight this fantastic concept, the attention bucket. This is arguably the absolute most effective long-term strategy you can use. The goal is to fill their bucket with tiny, 10-second bursts of positive attention during your outing. Just point out something completely ordinary. Say something like, "Oh wow, look at how carefully you're carrying that bag." Do this maybe 5 times an outing. A kid who feels seen and validated in these little everyday moments doesn't need to throw a massive tantrum over a toy just to prove that they matter.
Section 4. Common tantrum mistakes. Look, even with the absolute best intentions in the world, it's incredibly easy to stumble when you're in the heat of the moment. So let's quickly review the most common traps we fall into as parents.
First up, giving in just to end the tantrum quickly. It is so tempting, I know, but it teaches them that escalating their behavior actually works, which pretty much guarantees a faster, stronger tantrum next time around. Second, matching their chaotic energy. If you raise your voice or show visible, intense frustration, you are basically throwing gasoline on the fire for a kid whose nervous system is already screaming danger. And third, over-explaining. Remember that offline prefrontal cortex we talked about? You are quite literally wasting words on a brain that cannot hear you right now.
Section 5. When to seek help. It's really important to note that while public toddler tantrums are completely 100% developmentally normal, there are times when it makes sense to reach out to a professional.
If you observe certain severe patterns, it's probably time to consult a pediatrician or a child psychologist. We're talking about tantrums that regularly exceed 30 minutes, behavior that involves self-harm, extreme aggression, or breath holding to the point of passing out. Also, if you've been super consistent with these calm responses for months and you see absolutely zero decrease in frequency, or if you suspect any underlying sensory processing issues, definitely seek some support.
For parents who want to dive a little deeper into developmental baselines, just to understand what is and isn't typical, the American Academy of Pediatrics provides detailed, evidence-based guidance to help support you and your child through these tricky emotional development stages.
I want to bring us back to the source text for a moment. The author reflects on her daughter at 5 years old. The kid still pushes limits, sure, but those massive grocery store meltdowns completely vanished. She wrote this really beautiful realization. The floor of the aisle tantrums stopped gradually, not because she changed, but because I did. By stopping the frantic talking, letting go of the urge to fix it quickly, and filling that attention bucket beforehand, the parent changed the dynamic entirely.
I'll leave you with this final empowering thought for when you're right in the thick of it. What do you do about the people staring at you in the supermarket? You do absolutely nothing. Most of them are parents who have been exactly where you are, and the ones who aren't, well, they have no useful information about your situation anyway. Their staring is completely irrelevant to the safe space you are creating for your child. So the next time the storm hits in aisle 7, will you be ready to stand steady and just be there calm in the chaos?